In this board meeting, we will talk about the PlayStation VR2. Today, some hands-on videos and reviews were published, and we will talk about it. So stay tuned. Welcome back to MRTV, your YouTube channel all about VR and AR. And tonight we have our board meeting here, our third live board meeting on MRTV. And together with me, Marco Budde, is also Sebastian Ang. Sebastian Ang. Hi.
Yeah. That's a good start for a board meeting. Yeah. My name is Sebastian Ang. And
why
we
not Eng? I like Eng.
You like Eng? Yeah, I don't like it so much. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, as you can tell, the mood is good. We enjoy working together, and actually, we also enjoy doing these board meetings together. It's like we talk about stuff that is happening in the VR world. Normally, we would talk alone with just us, but at one point we thought, hey, why not just live stream it out into the world for everyone to see? And I still like the idea. And from the comments of the last board meetings, it seems that you, the community, also enjoys the board meeting. So welcome to board meeting number 3, where we talk about today. And wow, today, what an exciting day, Marco, right? How did you feel about today when the first hands-on videos of the PSVR2 came out and you recognized, hey, it's not me who's in those videos and it's not Sebastian who's checking out the PSVR2.
Exactly. Yes, this was the first reaction. Why? What is the reason for missing Team MRTV in London, for example? Why don't we had the opportunity to get to London and to test it out ourselves? I have a theory. I have a theory about this, and of course there are reasons for this. But first, I would like to ask you, Sebastian.
Yeah.
Can you explain, or maybe can you answer the question out of the community? Why is the PlayStation VR2 not here on MRTV as a real experience?
Yeah, that is really the question that everyone is asking. No, not really, but it's okay, of course, and I'm glad that we do have hands-on from people that we know and from people that we know have experience with VR and that we can trust in most of the cases, and because we know them for so long, right? So it's good that these hands-on are out there. For your question about why MRTV was not there, I truly believe that that Sony has their own channels for PR and marketing. They have their PR agencies, and for PlayStation, those PR agencies had been working for together with these old school magazines that have been around in flat times for a really long time, like IGN and so on and so forth, and to their normal channels. So they are probably not really aware of MRTV yet, even though we think we are amazing and we know that, and the hardcore community also knows that MRTV does really great reviews. Still, this has not penetrated to all those PR agencies that that did plan this event. So it's okay, it's fine. We will get to it eventually, and I'm looking forward to it. But what is your theory?
Yes, I can agree with your theory. I would say the same. But of course, we've seen that some other VR YouTubers and some other VR magazines had the chance to test out the PlayStation VR2. So it would have been great if we had the chance to test it out ourselves as well. But yes, the reasons you have mentioned and some other reasons, maybe, I don't know, the normal life that not everyone can have everything is maybe the reason for this.
Yeah. Also, the reason is 68,000 subscribers right now is not 680,000 subscribers. So it's up to us to get more subscribers and to get bigger And yeah, eventually it's going to happen, but so far it's okay. So it's also great that we can have this board meeting and simply talk about all the different videos that we saw, all the different impressions from all the different people, right? Like the VR experts that checked it out, like David Heaney from Upload or Mike from VR Oasis, and then others who probably are not an expert in VR. I don't want to call out a special video, but I do believe that there is definitely a big difference between some of the videos and some of the things that they looked at. Would you agree with this?
Yes, I would agree, as we cannot review maybe something else in the market. We just know VR, nothing else.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and probably I could
is-
also review adult beverage, but yeah, that I should do another channel. Yeah, you're right. We are complete VR guys, so we only review that. Probably in the future also more AR headsets. So that's what we do, and that's what we can do. Interesting to see others who would probably normally review other things and talk about other things, other technologies or other devices. Yeah, now check out a PSVR 2, and it also has its merits because probably lots of new people who are new to VR will suddenly buy this PSVR 2 for their PS5, and for them it's going to be a similar experience like for those people who we saw in the videos.
Exactly, you're right. I mean, the PlayStation 5 is not a platform like the PC where you can choose between headsets. If you have a PlayStation 5 and this is your gaming system, then you just buy, if you want to play VR, you just buy the PlayStation VR2, of course. So maybe it's not as important as the different headsets on the PC when we compare those nitpicky details. But of course, maybe for someone who owns a lot of systems like me, I have an Xbox, I have a PlayStation, I have a PC, and for those guys, it's important to know what are the key differences between the platforms and the headsets, of course.
Right. Why do you have an Xbox?
Yeah.
Just out of interest, why do you own an Xbox?
Honestly, I just love the design. I just love the concept of the Series X and S. I also have a Series S because I love to play the Game Pass games in every room. And
Okay, yeah,
yes,
that's legit.
and
That's legit.
and I love the quick resume feature on the Xbox. It's so heavily missing on the PlayStation that I can start my console in like 3 or 4 seconds. Then I will start 8 of my last games, and it will immediately, like also in 3 to 6 seconds, maybe it will immediately start from the point which I have left
Oh,
the last time.
even
It's
for
so
the games,
amazing.
even not just for the last game, for all other games.
Eight.
Yeah, eight is enough.
Games.
Oh, cool.
Eight,
Yeah, I
and
didn't even know that
you
exists.
can stick 2 games as always be quick
Okay.
resumed.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. I didn't know
Even
that.
if even if the Xbox is powered off, you can pull the cable, the power cord. It
Oh,
still
wow.
works.
That is cool.
You replug the power cord. So
Yeah.
I'm a tech nerd. I love
We know.
tech, and yes, we know. And this is the reason why I have Xbox as well. And yes, I
Great to
like
know.
the concept of this current gen of Microsoft. The last gen, in my opinion, Sony was better, but this gen, even technically, the Xbox
Okay.
has more horsepower than the PlayStation 5.
Okay. So probably I should
So I
look at
like
it. But anyways, let's get back to
No.
no, don't need it. Let's get back to the PSVR 2 and the coverage. Yeah, so let's directly get into it now after 10 minutes of talking generally. So what is your general impression after seeing all of these hands-on videos? Is it more positive? Is it what you expected, or is there something that stood out to you that was probably negative that you did not expect?
Mhm.
Tell me about your feelings.
My expectations have changed now after I've seen those videos about the PlayStation VR2 hands-on time of some people. We will talk about my different expectations for the future now, and yours too, of course. But in general, I love that the main conclusion of everyone was the PlayStation VR2 is a nice device, and we love to see some new games in the future. The details between it's a nice device and yes, maybe not are important here, of course. Like where the games, the state of play live stream yesterday.
That was a bit sad.
It was a joke. It was a bad joke. So those things are not. We don't know what the future of the PlayStation VR2 in terms of games will bring us, and what we mean by future. Is it like 1 year ahead, or 2 years, or maybe even more? So this is something we have to look at. And in my opinion, Sony, even if we don't have a confirmation on this, Sony won't bring the backwards compatibility of the PlayStation VR1 games. I think every developer has to change something to get it to work on PlayStation VR2. And of course, then we have a few games and a few developers with this, but not all, of course. Yes.
All right. That's what we learned today as well. The PSVR 1 games will not automatically run on PSVR 2.
No, there's no confirmation.
Yeah, right. We didn't hear that. Okay, just wanted to clarify because I didn't hear that.
But it's my guess that it's not backwards compatible, because I have a simple theory. If it was, or if it will be backwards compatible, then it would be a really nice marketing, a really nice advertising.
That they should have communicated by now.
Of course, everyone would say, "Wow, nice! I can play every PlayStation VR1 game again and with a better resolution and so on."
They should make it happen. Yeah. Anyways, let's stop assuming. Let's talk about the hands-on reviews that we saw today. How about we go through the whole headset from head to toe, probably more head, and talk about what the different hands-on reviewers saw. So let's start with the head strap. Margot, what are your takeaways from the head strap? As in, how comfortable it is? What are some new things on the head strap? And what did you take away from the talks today?
Yes, my takeaway is that it's like nearly 100% exactly as the PlayStation VR1 was or is. So if you like the design of the PlayStation VR1, you will like the design and the comfort of the PlayStation VR2. But of course, when you have negative points about the head strap, you will have the same negative points here as well. I mean, we could. It was as the design was revealed. It was clear. It was not a hint or something like that. That it's quite similar to the PlayStation VR1, the PlayStation VR2, but it's different. That some people test the device now and will tell us or told us now in their videos that it's like the same. And I mean, some details. For me personally, I don't like the PlayStation VR1 design and feeling on my head and the comfort. So I had the expectations, even that the design is the same. That maybe some reviewers would have said, "Okay, it's different. It's better now," or something like that. This was my personal expectation and hope. Yeah.
Okay, so
what about you?
With disliking the comfort of the PSVR1, you are in the minority. So since most people like praise the PSVR 1 for being one of the most comfortable headsets for
I
their
don't know.
head.
We have to make a big poll about this.
Yeah. Can you do it? Yeah, no, not right now. Anyways, the PSVR 1 is like praised for its comfort. And well, I personally, for my head, I agree with it. So for me, it's like I think it's great that is not completely different. So don't change like a winning team or change a winning head strap. So this seems to be all right. What I think is not so great, what they also did not change, is the audio solution. Right? So we don't have like a nice audio like we have now that we got used to from Valve Index or from the Reverb G2, where the audio is directly connected to the headset. You put it on once and everything is done. Right? They still do have these cheap feeling in-ear headphones that you can put inside that will probably work, but it's not really an improvement, which I think is a bit sad after so many years. So yes, I can understand it. Probably they did it because they didn't want to increase the price, since the controllers are already more expensive. Oh yeah, no, my camera is gone. Yeah, I will change it. And yeah, so this part is a bit sad, the audio part. What are your thoughts about this?
My thoughts are the same, but of course, it's important to know how expensive the PlayStation VR2 will be, because if it's now $199, of course, then it's totally okay that the cost-cutting thing was here to remove audio, or let's say not remove, but not a new. Okay, are you here?
I'm here. Yeah,
Okay.
with a bad camera now. It's okay.
Yes. So I think with this audio solution now, there's quite, my expectation for the price are now very a very low price compared to the PlayStation VR 1. So I don't know if $400 would be a good idea, to be honest.
You think it's gonna be it's too expensive?
Yes, from this point of view now, I think $400 would be too expensive, as the competition is way better on the market. And I mean, of course, a Quest 2 is more expensive than what is it now? $399 is the new price.
Yeah, for the
Yes.
for the Quest 2.
I mean, we know that the real price, the production price or whatever, is more expensive than $399. But Sony is doing the same with the PlayStation 5 itself. They sell games, and with those very expensive games, and they are like 30%. What is it? Provision is not the right term. What is like the commission? Commission is the right
Commission.
term, exactly. Like the 30% commission, they will just earn a lot of money, and they can sell the PlayStation 5 even with a little bit of loss. And the same could work with the PlayStation VR, but they have to believe in this device. So it's like yeah, the typical problem. What's the first? Should I invest a lot of money to earn it afterwards, or am I a little bit yes, I don't know how to call it. Like, is it too risky? Is the risk too high to invest money before getting money back? So
I
yes,
see. Yeah.
this is here something, or the reasons for this are, in my opinion, that the PlayStation VR2 should not cost more than $400. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I do have a little bit of a different opinion here, because for the PSVR 1, it had this price, $399, but it didn't even come with controllers. Yeah, you had to buy these expensive old controllers, those Move controllers, if you wanted to have like 6 controllers on top of that. So, and now the PSVR 2 is obviously better than the PSVR 1, makes sense, right? And then on top of that, you get those controllers, which seem to be really nice controllers with some good features. And yeah, controllers are normally also not cheap, especially if they have some nice functions. So I think $400 would be great if it's priced at $400, and I expect it to be more expensive. I expect it, with everything that's going on now with inflation, that it is going to cost $499, and I still think that $499 would be a price that is good enough for many people to get this headset, especially now that we know, okay, the experience seems to be pretty nice. I'm going to play it, obviously. You too, I know. So, yeah, for pricing, I believe $499 is going to be the price that they're going to ask for. Yeah, anyways, we don't know. This was not about price anyways. This was just our board meeting talk. Yeah, but let's talk more about the device itself and what we heard about it. So we talked now about the head strap, and we talked about the audio. What else about the head strap that we should talk about?
Maybe the Ipd adjustment, of course.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah,
yes,
that is interesting.
That is differently. That is here a new feature compared to the PlayStation VR1. And yes, we need this feature as we have now Fresnel lenses. And yes, the sweet spot is not as big as with aspheric lenses, of course. But especially,
nobody knows it.
You're right.
I mean, the English-speaking world, they have not seen the German videos. They have no idea, right? Okay, probably those who watched MRTV, because I mentioned that. But let's mention it again, because in the English-speaking videos, nobody talked about the sweet spot of the lenses. In the German video, we found out that, hey, wow, the sweet spot is small. Let me adjust the thing, right? That's also something really interesting that we saw, right?
Exactly. And to be honest, some other devices like the Valve Index, they have also a little and a small sweet spot. But when someone is talking about the Valve Index, the little and small sweet spot is not the first information about it. It's just like, oh, the package is so nice and so on.
Bigger FOV.
Yes. So maybe sweet spot is for some people not a really heavy thing.
Topic.
What topic? Yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah. But it should be. We think.
Yeah.
We think, because, well, the lenses are very important. We've seen that with the Vive Pro 2, where the displays are very nice for LCD panels. Really good blacks for LCD panels, high resolution, and wow, we would love the device if it wasn't for the lenses, which have a small sweet spot and glare. Quite a bit of glare. And when I saw the close-up of the lenses, of the PSVR lenses, they eerily reminded me of the Vive Pro 2 lenses, because they also look like obviously they're also Fresnel, but from Fresnel lens to Fresnel lens, you can still see differences. And this one simply reminded me of how the Vive Pro 2 Fresnel lenses look and shine when you have light onto them.
I don't think that it will be so bad. The first reason for that is that it's not a headset, the PlayStation VR2 or from HTC. This is always good if a headset is not out of the factory of HTC. And the second reason, in my opinion, is that we have no double stacked lenses like in the HTC Vive Pro 2 and the Vive Index. So I think that physically it's not possible to have those God rays out of the Index and Pro 2. And the third reason for normal God rays, in my opinion, is that nobody of the reviewers have said that it's totally distracting.
Yeah, right.
And with the Index God rays and the Pro 2 God rays, in my opinion, it is totally distracting.
Yeah, it's really different. There's a huge difference between glare, for example, between the Index and the Quest 2, of course. For example, there's also
And we've seen in the Metaverse project, even between an Index and an Index. You remember?
yeah, I can remember. Could be some
Even
some different kind of lenses used for the same headsets.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to find out that none of the people who checked it out said like, wow, I see God rays. It's super distracting. So I agree with you, probably because they are not using double stacked lenses. This isn't a real problem. However, with the small sweet spot, I do trust the German reviewer who said that. And I can imagine it because of how he had to wiggle to get into the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
That he really meant that, the sweet spot, and not the edge-touch clarity. Because I just saw somebody in the comments that said like, oh, the Reverb G2 has a super small sweet spot. Actually, no. The sweet spot of the Reverb G2 is pretty nice. You put it on and you're in it. But what they normally talk about is the edge-touch clarity. That if you look with your eyes to the left or right edges, then the picture quality degrades. That is what we call edge-to-edge clarity. And there, the G2 had some deficits because it was just so sharp in the middle. And then because of the Fresnel lenses, you lost that sharpness at the edges. So, yeah, we don't know how it's here with the PSVR2. But I think it's something that we should look out for when we have our hands on.
Yes, and the biggest problem of the G2 is, of course, that, or maybe the version 1, I should say, that you cannot adjust the what is
IPD?
it? No, the eye relief.
Oh, yeah, eye relief, yeah.
You cannot adjust the eye relief. And I have a little cap here from my water bottle here. When you assume that this is the sweet spot here, and if you're very far away from the sweet spot, of course, it will be smaller than if you are very in front of the sweet spot and the lens, of course. And this is the reason why the G2 had so much problems, or let's say the people had so much problems, because they were too far away from the lenses.
Yes.
And what the PlayStation VR2 and the PlayStation VR2 1 as well will make better here, that we have eye relief adjustment. This is perfect.
Exactly. That is great. However, I do believe that actually the lenses are a step back from the PSVR 1, right?
Definitely.
Since we had aspheric lenses.
You know how much I love the Aero lenses.
Same here. We love clear lenses, even though they also have their disadvantages with distortions and warping and stuff. But the PSVR 1, they kind of solved the problem quite nicely, even though it's also not perfect.
It's not perfect, but they have solved the problem, to be honest.
If you are in your sweet spot, everything's great. But if you move the box around, you will see some crazy warping, but you don't do that normally. Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing to look out for. I think. However, I also think that when you are in the sweet spot, I do believe that stuff is going to look great. And that's what most of the early hands-on reviewers said. They said it looks fantastic, right? It makes sense. We have a high resolution. We have real OLED blacks and colors. And yeah, so I believe it's going to look really good.
Yes.
And we have Ipd adjustment.
And this is something good and something bad, I think, as we have heard that with the Ipd of 62, I think there were problems with the nose and the lenses, so they hit each other. And of course, it was not an issue with the PlayStation VR1, as there was no Ipd adjustment with this device.
Right.
So, I mean, of course, it's always good to have an Ipd, sure, but with those lenses, we need this Ipd adjustment. It's just, I mean, even with aspheric lens, an IPD adjustment would be better, of course, but you can tune a little bit with software and yes, and the big sweet spot, of course. And yes, now we have other problems, like maybe someone out of the range, but of course this is for the PlayStation VR1 as well, the same case. And yes, you've heard some people in your MRTV experience appointments that yes, with a big nose, some headsets are because of the IPD uncomfortable.
Yeah, actually, for one person from the community, Winnie, hello, if you're watching this too, it's about you. We're talking here, your big nose. So with a big nose, it was very uncomfortable for him to get into a lot of headsets, and his nose would be like squeezed into between the two lenses. And that is exactly what Mike from VR Oasis said. And in his video, he said he has a small IPD of 62 millimeters. However, 62 millimeters is not super small, actually.
No,
it's quite normal. It's quite average.
Yes.
Like the perfect average would be like 64 millimeters. And 62 is not so small, right? So if you have like 55, that is small, or 56 or 57. But 62 is pretty normal. So yeah, we have to see what people say.
Millimeters.
Right. So we have to see what people say that have small ones. How they get into it. Right? So
yes, let me
Okay. You would expect good, but probably no. Probably they have to put the lenses too far together.
Let's go on.
Yeah, let's go on.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. But you know what we're talking about. So yeah, okay. So that's what we have to watch for the lenses.
What about the OLED display? Have you heard only positive things about the display? Like everyone is saying, "Wow, nice! It's an OLED display." I mean, I get those comments without any. Okay. You look very good
now I look good again.
No disadvantages with OLED is my feeling from the community, but maybe you can tell what I've told in the German stream.
You simply let me translate it.
No, not because of translation, just because I've asked you the question, are there any disadvantages, and now I'm speaking too much about it.
Okay. Yeah, so in general, yes, there can be quite a few problems with OLED displays. So they do have their advantages, right? Like the perfect blacks, but well, often you also have some problems with Mura, which can be a bit distracting, where colors, even though the same color is sent to many pixels, those colors are not the same on each of these pixels. But there is some kind of pattern that would distract you. Like if you would look through a dirty windshield, it's called windshield, like from the cars, you know, the glass in front of you, windshield.
I will translate it for you, no problem.
Thank you. And then, you look through the dirty windshield, and then probably you see there's something going on, and that's Mura. And it can happen that for OLED displays, that might be a problem. And then actually each and every display really has to be calibrated to get rid of this Mura. And depending on how well this calibration is done, either Mura is gone or it's not gone. And we did hear, I think we did hear that somebody had saw Mura on the PSVR 2.
Yes. In I think 1 or 2 reviews, Mura was a topic here. Yes.
All right. Yeah.
And this is very sad, to be honest.
Of course it is. And you also mentioned it on the German stream that you also saw it on the PSVR 1. It was already a problem for some on the PSVR 1. And it's interesting. Probably, some are worse. Some have have a worse problem, and some not. Could really depend on the calibration of each and every display. Yeah, so that's something that we have to look out for. And also, actually, I heard from 2 reviewers, Upload and Road to VR, that they did see some persistence problems in the 60 hertz mode, where they saw some blurriness when they would move the display. So that is definitely something that we have to look out for. It could simply be the case that some fine tuning still has to be done. And you might remember that, for example, the Reverb G2, the first in the world that I got at the MRTV headquarters, in the very beginning, it also had this kind of persistence and blurriness problems, right? And there was only like a calibration issue that was solved in the end. So for that, we still have to find out in the end, is it a problem that will make it to actual consumer headsets, or was it still just something that will be fixed? What are your thoughts?
In my opinion, we will have to live with the Mura problem, and also the thing is, what about the badges? Are the badges like totally different? In my opinion, the PlayStation VR1 badges are totally different between each other. So some folks have Mura, some not, and some
It's
have
like a
it, but
lottery.
they don't see it. Yes,
Right,
it's like
right. It's
like the
very
silicon
individual.
lottery on CPUs. Yes,
Yes.
and I mean, this is normal. This is like how it works, of course, in the business. But it's not very nice if, for example, we have or we haven't those devices with or without Mura, and we spread the word about the device, of course. I mean, surely we read comments and we talk about it, but mainly our opinion with our device is the one that we talk about. And this is something like with the golden sample, those things. This is something I hate, and I don't hope that we will get something like that.
Right. Yeah, we have to look out for that for sure. And here in the chat, like Loose Review says, I've never noticed or seen Mura on my PSVR unit.
Yeah.
Same with me. Like I haven't noticed it, let's say like this. Probably if I would find some area with the same color and I would really look at it for a long time, probably I would also see it. But so far, it has never in any way affected my gameplay with PSVR 1. So probably I have a good device or a good screen with a great calibration for that. Anyways, it's something that was mentioned, and that's something that we will look out for. But none of these people who tried it have said that, wow, this was like a showstopper. Like every single one said, like, okay, the visual quality was very good, and it was an overall fantastic improvement over the PSVR 1. So I'm not expecting now to get like a terrible visual quality that is impacted by Mura. But it's definitely something that we should like follow, or at least like check out when we get our devices.
Exactly. And I've read some comments. I've just different eyes. No. I've looked here for those Reddit posts, and I just put it here in the chat. Maybe you can just read it if you want to in the chat. So it's not only me. Mura is a thing on the PlayStation VR1. So it's important to mention here.
Right. And
like you mentioned that your HTC Vive that you killed your HTC Vive with your
MRTV Killer Sweat.
Yes, exactly.
I did.
So I could say I've played with my HTC Vive heavily, and I sweated as well, but everything was fine, for example. It's just different. Just different devices, different experience with it.
Yeah. Okay, Hey, I'm Chris says, does OLED also have a worse pixel layout than LCD? Actually, it depends on the panel.
Oh, right? We don't know that.
But this one has RGB.
Do we know it?
Yeah, I've read it somewhere, but I
Really?
don't have the. Yeah. So well, the if it had. What is the other layout called? It's something with diamond. But anyways, what the PSVR1 had was RGB stripe, and for each pixel, 3 subpixels are shown, and that was much better than the OLED structure of the first Rift and the first Vive. They didn't have it, and that's why you saw that screen door effect so clearly. But yeah, that is the past. Yeah. So for this, I had no one say that there was screen door effect. So I expect this to be like an RGB stripe OLED display.
I mean, with those
Pentile, that's it.
pixels,
Exactly,
yes,
pentile.
exactly. With those pixel counts here, I think the screen door effect is not something we would talk about
Yeah, right.
very much, to be honest. It's just
exactly.
like, is it a current gen headset? Yes, okay. So no really noticeable screen door effect. Let's talk about other things. Yeah.
Right. Agreed. Oh man, I'm looking so much forward to actually checking it out, to look through it.
Yes, me too. And I've read a lot of chats here in the live stream about the HDR feature, and it's in my opinion, it's so nice marketing from Sony. Everyone is talking about HDR, and in those reviews or hands-on videos, for example, they haven't even noticed the HDR feature. It's just okay. This is an HDR game and an HDR headset. Okay, yes, it's good, but when the HDR badge was not in the PlayStation VR2, it would be the same in my opinion. So this is just an assume now. So we don't know it, of course, and maybe the games weren't optimized for HDR, but HDR is a standard from VESA, and it's totally different in VR. So it's the first HDR badge device here, the PlayStation VR2. But of course, it's more marketing, in my opinion. This was my guess before, even before those articles now, that it's just like, okay, we have 4K HDR, like on your TV when you're watching your normal cable TV, but you have a 4K TV. This is only marketing, in my opinion. And those reactions, I don't know, Sebastian, how have you
Yeah, I don't.
get those information about HDR?
I agree with you. From those reactions, there was no one who, like in awe, took off the headset and said HDR. Oh my god, it's so different as compared to all the headsets that we have right now. So I do believe that we have beautiful blacks, first of all, and also beautiful and shiny colors. That's for sure. But we did have that before as well with other headsets. So I don't think there's going to be a revolution, at least not from those hands-on. So I don't know, probably they didn't have the perfectly optimized game for showing off HDR features. But from what we heard from those first hands-on reviewers, it didn't seem to make a huge difference that this panel is HDR capable. So
Exactly.
yeah, I agree with you that it's
mean,
more
it's-
of a marketing gag right now than like a game changer.
We will see it, of course, but it's nice to hear that the picture quality and the contrast is good.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. I want
I
that.
mean, only
I
the
want that in my
Quest.
life now.
Exactly. Only the Quest and Pico, in my opinion, have a bad contrast.
Yeah,
What would you
and
say? I mean,
well,
the
they have the
G2,
same
the
they have the same
Index.
panel. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, sure. So the Index, the G2, the Pro 2, like every other headset, it was always a nice brightness, a nice contrast. In my opinion, even nice black levels. So I can believe that the PlayStation VR2 will look nice too in those areas. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, here Blizzardo from the chat, he just says that HDR is mostly contrast and brightness. Yeah, so probably it's gonna be great, the brightness and the contrast. Yeah, but really none of them pointed out like wow, it's just unbelievably big of a change in compared to other high-end headsets. I
When
mean,
you
you
see
and me are so spoiled by the Vario Aero, right? Because we were using it for quite a while, and it is a very bright headset. Could have
but
better blacks, right? But colors
the
are very nice.
difference between SDR and HDR is like when you I have for example, I have an HDR OLED TV here next to
And
me.
I can remember that you liked it a lot.
Exactly. And when I would show you a real HDR like game or movie, you can immediately notice the difference between HDR and SDR. It's the difference is so high that if the PlayStation VR2 and the games, of course, the 4 games that were presented there, if they if the PlayStation VR2 can show real HDR, which is a really different thing when you see it, then the people, the guys over there, they have said it. They
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 would have said
they
it, you mean?
they would have
Okay.
said it exactly. So it's nothing like, okay, I know that I have a TV which can show HDR. Okay, yes, it looks good. No, it's like, what is this an HDR TV? I can immediately notice it. So this is something we have to point out here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we also like just like Lou's review says, maybe none of the
Exactly.
games demoed supported HDR and
Yeah,
showed
could
it
be.
off. Right. So yeah, let's see. Probably when we tried for the first time and the first game that we put on is HDR optimized, we're going to go like HDR. Yeah, that
I
would be
would
fun.
love to see it.
Yeah,
I
I
would
would love
love
to
to
see
see
that
it.
too.
Yeah.
I want that in my life again, as mentioned. So let's see. Let's see how it's going to turn out when it really arrives at our doorsteps, and we have more time to really check it out. I mean, although 4 hours is a good time to get a good idea, right? The people who have checked it out, they had 4 hours, like 1 hour with each of the games they were tried out, so they do have quite a good understanding now, I believe.
And Kevin says some previews said it was the best visual experience they have had in VR. They might not know it was HDR making the difference.
Yeah,
So,
that is also really an interesting thing to say. I
yeah,
also recognized that some said it, but then I thought like, probably they didn't look through a Vario arrow,
no, they
right?
don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, of course, the Vario Arrow is way too expensive.
It
This
is,
is
but
not the thing
it's
here.
still
But
amazing
when you
visuals
say the best visual experience in VR,
that I
then
had, and I'm only a Quest 2
yeah,
owner. That
yeah,
is important that's really important to add, right? Also in general, and you also mentioned it to me in private before. In general, it would have been great to hear more about comparisons to
yes,
other
exactly.
headsets,
Yeah,
as in like when they said like, okay, I don't know, the FOV was bigger than that of the Quest 2, for example. That would have been like something to say that people could more relate to, I believe. What are your thoughts about that?
exactly. This would have been my wish here, my hope before that. Of course, I love comparisons, as I have my devices I had, the list is so long, and I can and you you of course you not had it, you have all those devices, and you can perfectly compare those devices
Yeah.
to transfer a feeling and the difference between some devices to the audience, as we have in the chat, for example, maybe many Quest 2 owners or Index owners and so on. And if you compare those PlayStation VR2 aspects, like the display and the lenses, to those devices, you help a lot. You help the people a lot in understanding how big is the difference. For example,
Yeah.
when I would say, okay, the picture quality is great, then I can say the same on the Quest 2, of course, because it's just a small SoC. So it's so great, this device. But when I say the Quest 2 picture quality is better than the Vario Aero, of course, you can sort it totally different. Like, what? This device has a better screen than the Vario Arrow. This could not be. And when you compare something to another thing, then you can sort it in a list, like from the best to the
Yes,
worst. Yeah.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So let's talk about one more thing about the visuals, which is the FOV. It's interesting to talk about this because we did hear quite a lot of different things, or we heard nothing about it. So Upload VR said that it's noticeably bigger than PSVR 1, and that makes me kind of hopeful since for my eyes, and that's always what I have to add to that, for my eyes, 64 millimeters IPD, the PSVR 1 was already like a good FOV, even compared to something like the Quest 2 or the Quest 1 or other headsets. It was already quite big, bigger than Quest 2. So hearing that it's bigger, that would be amazing, of course. That would be something that we would look forward to. However, then from other reports, like Jan Keno, the German one, when we asked him about the FOV, he didn't say it's bigger. He said, like, yeah, it was not smaller than anything that he's seen, but it was also not bigger. So for him, it was something that didn't strike him. And for some others, we just heard nothing about the FOV. So
Yeah.
probably it's, again, very individual. What are your thoughts?
I think the Ipd adjustment helps a lot here for
Right.
this FOV. And normally the Ipd adjustment is not related to the FOV, just the eye relief adjustment. But if you have only one screen behind the lenses, so not for each lens an own screen, then of course, as as bigger the IPD is, or the bigger the IPD is, the bigger is the chance that you leave the screen, like
Yeah.
maybe just a little millimeters, but it's noticeable. And
Right.
yes, maybe now with the two screens and the IPD adjustment, it helped him to have a bigger FOV. In
Totally
my
agreed.
opinion, I expect a normal standard FOV. For me, it's fine, like between Quest 2 and G2, something like that. It's totally fine for me, and I would be happy with it. Yeah.
I would be happy with the PSVR 1 FOV as well.
Yes,
So I totally
exactly.
agree with you. Probably for the PSVR 1, since it has a fixed IPD, no IPD adjustment, just one screen. Probably for David Heaney from Upload VR, probably his FOV was smaller since he could not adjust it to his eyes, but now he can on the PSVR 2, and then boom, it opened up. So yeah. So it's probably going to be very individual again, depending on your IPD. So probably I will not see a difference, just like others. Who knows? Yeah, it's interesting. So wow, we have to look at it ourselves, obviously, and we want to.
We want to.
Sony, if you're watching this, yeah,
And
we're just 1 hour from London.
I like the fact that the forwarded rendering performance was very good here in the reviews. So, or the yes, the speaking about it, yes, the information about it. So it's not a normal thing that a forward rendering will work with high performance. It could be, of course, work just with a noticeable delay. And the reviews said, or the hands-on reviews, that the forwarded rendering performance, like if you switch your pupil to the right and then to the left and your eyes, that it's not noticeable, that you maybe see for like a millisecond the not sharp image where you have looked then. And
Exactly.
how have you um, what do you think about this topic? Do you think that this can be true, or is it
Yeah.
maybe the forward rendering was off or something like that?
Hey, check out our foveated rendering. You will not see any difference. It's perfect. No, I believe it. I trust it. I've seen working foveated rendering before on some headsets made by Qualcomm, those reference headsets. I've seen demos from Tobii where they showed me how it works with foveated rendering on and off, and it was also perfect. I couldn't see it. I tried to trick it by looking right and left very fast, but I couldn't do it. It's just faster than my eyes. And I totally believe that Sony and Tobii together nailed it. And that is fantastic news. So it means, okay, finally, a headset where every single game can simply use foveated rendering because it's built into the system. And for other systems, like for example the Vario Aero, which also has eye tracking, right? No, it has to be implemented game by game basis because it's not built into the driver level. But here on the PSVR2, okay, perfectly built into the driver level, every single game can use it automatically. Boom. And that will make
they need it.
They need it. And yeah, well, that will help the PSVR2 to be relevant for the whole lifespan of the PS5. So that is absolutely good. It needs to, exactly like you said, it needs to, because PC VR, every single new GPU generation, they simply have more power, and you don't get that with the PS5. So great that it has foveated rendering built in and that it works so well.
I look forward to the 4090 release. I hope we can buy some, but of course it will be very expensive here, and especially here in Europe and Germany, as the inflation destroys all of the prices we have in our minds from the past. Yeah.
And that's right. Still,
just off topic. What do you think? How much will the 4090 will be?
How expensive it's going to be? Well, I don't believe it's going to be cheaper than the 3090.
No, sure, no.
Right. Right, because they have found out already, hey, we can ask for these prices. We can, and people will still buy it, and it's going to be sold out anyways. So why would they go down with price? So it's going to be probably just...
The MSRPs were fair, to be honest. The MSRPs were very good.
Yeah.
But if you say that, of course, the scalper prices...
Yeah,
the prices
that is
on eBay.
That we cannot pay it.
This was ridiculous. But
this was ridiculous.
Just your thoughts about the MSRP.
Yeah, probably $2,299.
Really?
It's too expensive?
Yes.
Yeah. How much?
It's a big uplift.
Yeah. Okay.
From the old MSRP.
Yeah, I think they can do it. What do you think?
Yes, sure. Surely they can do it, but I don't hope that they will do it. So I think
they probably will do it.
Yeah, smart guy. It's like maybe $1,700 or something like that.
Okay.
It would be not okay, but
yeah,
just a small increase.
But will you buy a 4090?
Yes, I will. I will buy it. Not only because I want it, just because, of course, we need it here when we want to test those devices like the Vario Aero, or like, to be honest, even like a normal Quest 2 will benefit
from it.
Yes, from a 4090 when you do like sim racing or something like, or flight sim. I mean, I know the flight sim, like in Microsoft Flight Simulator, is not heavily GPU bound, but of course
it will help.
And a bigger graphic cards helps always.
Totally agreed, and that's also what I'm looking forward to, because even now with the 3080 that I have here, I'm having a great time with Microsoft Flight Simulator. It has really like shocked me in the Pico Neo 3 Link. Oh, it looks so good. Obviously in the Vario Aero as well, right? But thinking of having a 4090 and getting even more FPS. Oh yes. Oh my goodness. We are enthusiasts. Absolutely.
And we are speaking about the PlayStation VR2, and it's totally different, of course. It's a
Yeah,
console, it's a
it's
closed
great.
ecosystem, and it's great. It's a
It's only going
nice
to cost
value.
$499, and of course you need the PS5, right? But still, it is way cheaper than getting a Vario Aero and a PC that will have a 3090 or 4090. So in terms of um, the price value proposition, I don't know if this is a word, but in German we love to use that, the price and the value, like the ratio, that is super important. If you ever go to Germany, we love that. So that is going to be like really good for the PS5, right? I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, yeah, so what do we still need to talk about? We talked about the lenses that are probably weaker than before. We talked about the FOV. We talked about the panel, and yeah, the resolution is on par or a bit less than the G2. My question to you, Marco, do you think that is enough? You and me are used to G2 and Vario and Aero, right? But still, with OLED and HDR, do you think this is enough?
Before I would answer this question, I would ask you a question, Sebastian.
Okay, well, it's getting so excited now.
When is the Next Dimension podcast coming back?
It's coming back soon, TM. So working on that. Yeah, it's going to happen. For sure, once the new hardware hits, we're going to be back.
Okay, great.
So I cannot tell you now when exactly, since I would totally give away lots of secrets. But soon.
Okay, the pixel count you've asked me.
Exactly. What are your thoughts about the resolution?
Yes, it is. It's
okay.
Enough.
Okay.
So if the forward rendering will work fine, then it's great. And I just hope that we can achieve with the forward rendering at least 90 FPS, real FPS, not like 45 doubled or like 60 doubled to 120. So I would like to have native 90 frames with forward rendering, as this is not a great feature. It's just a little thing to help out for good FPS here, of course. And yes, this is the feeling about it.
Yeah, right. I believe this should happen. I also agree with you. So something like G2 resolution, but in OLED blacks and colors, yeah, with forward rendering giving us like the sharpest picture where we look at, that should really look great. So I agree. This should be good enough. So even if it had like super higher resolution, and of course there are higher resolution displays, probably it would be too tough to drive those pixels. And we know from the G2 it can already achieve like a super sharp picture quality. So yeah, I can't wait to look through it. I am so looking forward to it. Sony.
So what about the ghosting information here about like that the headset only was achieving 60 frames in Resident Evil 8 here, and there was ghosting because they have to double it to 120
FPS,
not fake FPS, but 60 fake and 60 real FPS.
Yeah, well, we really don't know what was the issue. Is the issue that upscaling, or is the issue that the panel simply has this persistence problem? We don't know. Is it a calibration error? We don't know, right? This is really something that we have to check out when we have the final hardware, and then we will look at it and draw our conclusions. So I'm still hopeful that this is a good panel and that we won't have this problem. So I really believe that the Sony engineers have so much experience with making displays that they're not going to put a panel that has persistence problems. So yeah.
But they haven't commented about it.
They did not. You're right.
And this is very bad, in my opinion. I mean, it's totally fine if this is a pre-production sample or unit to say, okay, we will fix this in the final version. They haven't said this.
Right.
And for me, this is a big deal that they haven't commented about it.
Right, but probably not the right person was there in time to comment on it. And the people who were giving the demo, it's the first time that they heard it. We don't know, right?
Could be, yes.
So we have to really, wait a bit and wait for the final units to arrive.
Yeah.
Next year. Oh no. Why? But okay, now it's already September. We can make it happen. We get some other hardware to play with soon.
You're right. Noidi, you're asking, do we already know if there's an eye tracking calibration procedure in PlayStation VR2 after each start, similar to the Ipd auto adjustment of the Aero? Yes, it is. It's like you don't even need your Ipd in millimeters. You don't have to know it. It's just like a demo in front of you. When you put on the HMD, then you have a little or you have a head in front of you, and then you have to manually dial the Ipd adjustment to this point that your eyes and the eyes on the head in front of you on this graphic will match each other. And with this procedure, you have already calibrated then the eye tracking. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, good. Very nice. I'm looking forward to try that out. And it sounded really easy and intuitive to use.
Yes, and even the room scale boundaries are very intuitive. You don't have to point to the floor and to draw lines.
Yes.
You just stand in your living room, for example, and you just look around, and that's it. So to be honest, I would like to have an optional feature to make my own boundaries, as maybe I just want to go to this stage in my living room to this point, and even if there's room left, I don't want to go beyond. But we will see in the final version how it works. But for now, you just need to look around, and the system will recognize like I don't know, a chair or a couch or something like that, and it will warn you if you go to this direction. Then
yeah, that is interesting that it works like this, but then still, if it doesn't pick up something correctly, you can still use the controller and draw your Guardian just like you could on the Quest 2. So it seems to be a nice feature.
Okay, and then it's very good.
Yeah.
Good. So what about the controllers?
Yeah. Controllers.
Those maybe first let's talk about the size again. Yeah.
The size, right?
The size here, and for me, it looked like it's too small for my hands. Those controllers. Yeah. It looks like the Do you have something to say here?
No, nothing. Just go on.
Okay. Like as the ring closes at the bottom of the controller, you have no chance to hold your fingers maybe under your controller or something like that. You're limited with the space between the top and the bottom, and it looked like a little bit too small controller. Maybe not for the European or the West market. So maybe more for the Asian. I don't want to say that Asians have small hands or something like that, but in general, in general, the from my experience, my experience, the Asian people have smaller hands, and this is the reason why the PlayStation controllers were always a little bit smaller in the last generations.
Okay,
that's my theory. What would you say?
Yeah, like when I looked at those videos of people holding the controller, it really looked as if this ring was very close to the people's hands. Right? And I was, you're right. I agree with you. It looked not so comfortable. But then we did have that German reviewer, Jan Keno, and he did say it was a bit, how do you say it? It was a bit hard to get into the controllers, but once he did hold the controllers, everything was fine and they were comfortable. Just like getting into them was a bit hard at first, but then later it was good.
Okay, we're back again.
yeah, right. Good that we still have a great time, yeah? Even as grown men, we can still giggle a bit sometimes.
Grown man. Let's go on about to the next thing about the controller, like the trigger.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That is something that got praised by most of them, right? The adaptive triggers, which have like force feedback, which will help you to have a different trigger feeling when you're holding and when you're using different guns. And I know already that this is probably going to be like one of the features that I'm going to love a lot, me personally, since I personally really enjoy that feature on the PS5 controllers. And obviously it's going to be the same, right? I don't think it's going to be different here. So yeah, that's something that I'm looking forward to. And it was praised by those people who checked it out right now. So yeah, really happy about it. So people said in the Star Wars game, you have different guns and they all feel different in terms of the trigger feeling. Then Mike from VR Oasis said that in Horizon, when he was using the bow, he could feel the force differently when he had like I don't know how to say that in English, like you know, when he did that. Please help me. How is it called when you the bow? When you like put pressure on it, or I don't know how to say that. Spannen in Deutsch, in German, yes. Right? But tension, right? So he could feel the tension when he was using the strings. Yeah, right. So cool.
Bow.
When he was drawing the bow, he could feel the tension. So this is good. this is good. I'm simply looking forward to it. I'm simply looking forward to that feature. And this could really, for me at least, increase immersion a lot. That's what I believe. What is your feeling about that feature?
VR is all about senses. Like you need good audio, as this is a sense in VR. You need to feel the virtual reality as the real reality. Yes, as reality, and the next is the display, the visuals, and this is, for example, the reason why for me visuals are the most important thing always, as I see the visuals the whole time. Every second I see the visuals. Sound is the second important thing for me, as it's not the whole time noticeable. And then, of course, the haptics are the third sense here.
Right.
After the hearing and the visuals. And it's so great, of course, that when you have a weapon in your hand and the trigger is not just like always, just like when you point on the menu and say start game, it's then different. And I love to get this DualSense feature on the PlayStation VR2 controllers, and I love, of course, to get it on the Quest Pro controllers. And yes. I'm very excited to compare again the comparison to compare the triggers of the Quest Pro and the PlayStation VR2.
Yes, it is incredible to implement this kind of feature on such a small controller. Yeah. The Quest Pro controllers, they don't look huge, right? They look normal. And then to put all this technology into it, like the cameras for tracking itself, and then probably it's going to have rumble, right? And then even to have this force feedback on the triggers. Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is really, really complicated engineering, and we've seen it from the CAD files, like how complicated this looks. So, wow, oh my goodness. I love high tech. I really, really love high tech. So this is going to be good. And agreed, it will be interesting to see the difference between the Quest Pro controller and the PSVR2 controllers. Yeah, but definitely something to look out for. And yeah, all the people seem to enjoy the controllers. It also was said it has capacitive touch, right? Or
Yes,
were the wrong ones?
we have capacitive touch. That's nice. And something else, as HamVR says here, one of the reviewers said holding the grip button down for a long period was painful. Not enough grip practice, perhaps. In
Yeah.
my opinion, the missing analog grip button, as we have here digital button, is the reason for that. As the reviewer said, of course, to give a reason for his feelings. And yes, I can get it. The grip buttons, for example, on the Quest or the Pico or other VR controllers, beside the index controllers, of course, as they have no physically a grip button. It's much more easy. It's very easy to press the grip button, as there's not like a hard key beneath it. It's just like when you tap on it, you are already half in. and and
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, go on.
And this is everything I want to say about the grip button.
Okay.
That you are half in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see how the feeling is going to be when you hold the grip button. Is it complicated to
Feeling is always good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we have to see. Probably that one reviewer was not really used so much to VR, and probably he doesn't know how it felt with the Valve Index controller, because there also we have this problem that you really have to grip like with your whole hand in order to use the grip button, which is non-existent, right? So yeah, there we have to find out for ourselves how this will feel. Like, yeah, for most of the things, like others didn't mention this part of the grip button, right? So yeah, we have to find it out for ourselves for sure.
We will, and let's talk about those games in the hands-on area. So it was like Resident Evil 8 VR. It was like the yesterday announced. It was so painful, the state of play yesterday. The yesterday announced Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Edge Enhanced Edition, and of course we had. What was the third game? It was what was the third game in the hands-on area of PlayStation VR2? I forgot about it.
What did you
Horizon.
say?
Horizon, of course. Yeah,
Horizon, yeah.
Horizon.
That's good.
And the fourth game?
Resident Evil 8?
No,
Did you say it
already counted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already late here in Germany. The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Walking Dead.
Exactly.
So, what about you? What are your feelings about Resident Evil 8? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, as you know, I'm really afraid of horror games since I'm too immersed in that whole thing in VR. It feels too real for me, even on the PSVR 1, right? It feels already too real for me that I have not played until now Resident Evil 7. So now having even better graphics, having the same black levels, and having even some head rumble where they can even like frighten me more, I'm not looking forward to it. Yeah, but I must say I am looking forward to still trying out, because all of those people who checked it out today mentioned that the graphics in Resident Evil 8 are fantastic, bombastic, the best that they've seen. So I am very much looking forward to have a little look into it, to look around in the beginning of the game probably, just to see how it looks like, and then play Astrobot something if it's possible. Yeah, so that's my feelings. And well, some of the reviewers said that this is not really optimized for people who are easily to get sick with vertigo, right? So I believe that because it seems like at one point you get dragged, and then yeah, it
Yes,
is.
it's like a bad VR mod, to be honest. This game, this release or this build,
Yeah,
which they were shown there, um, in my opinion, it's like a bad VR mod, like Resident Evil 2
yeah,
VR.
exactly. Totally agreed with you.
There's
Exactly.
even no teleport, no vignette. Is it vignette on
Yeah.
English? Yes.
Yes.
No comfort options at all. It's
Right.
just like a normal VR mod where you have motion controls then.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I,
That's not so
I
great.
hope that this is not the final version. This is not the
Agreed.
final
Agreed.
state of the game.
Agreed. So probably for people like us who have been in VR for years, it's going to be okay. But agreed. What about somebody who's totally new to VR and he tries this game and his first memory will be, okay, I'm super scared and I feel sick.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
that really is a problem, and I do hope that they will address that.
And for me, yes, you're right. We have VR lags, no motion sickness. But when there's a cutscene, and
Yeah, yeah, you
that's
shouldn't be in it. Yeah.
no,
No, agreed. They should leave the scene, go into some
yes,
other view, and
exactly.
enjoy it from another perspective. Well, I haven't played Resident Evil 4 even on Quest, but they have solved this problem like this, right? They went out.
It's so great. It's so
Yeah.
great. I've played Resident Evil 4 like 2 weeks ago with a friend of mine here at my home, and he's a totally beginner. Like I would say that he haven't played any VR game before. He
Wow.
just tried one time a VR headset here, and oh, nice. And of course, he didn't buy, he didn't bought it. But like always, he could play the Resident Evil 4 VR game on the Oculus Quest for hours here, and
Yeah.
it was so great. And he said, "I have no pain, no headache, and um, yes, no puke." So
Yeah.
everything was fine for him. And we
Right.
need that, of course, for a mass product like the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation VR2, that we have comfort options in every game. This is mandatory, in my opinion.
Yeah,
This
totally
shouldn't
agreed.
be an option. This shouldn't be an option.
Totally agreed. And I do hope that this was only a demo build that is not finished yet. They still have a few months to build it into it.
Hmm.
And I do think they will do it. They must do it. It's one of the launch titles, so they should have this option.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
But
yeah.
in Resident Evil 7 VR, it was the same, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
It
So
was
probably they
totally
will
the
not put it
same.
inside. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Damn. Damn. Yeah, right. Ah, yeah, that is a problem for people who are new to VR then, right? So, let's see. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 8 only as a tech demo for me, since I don't enjoy playing these games. I know it's the same for you, right?
Yeah, it's the same for me, but to be honest, I've tried to play Resident Evil 7 quite, I think like 6 or 7 hours, and
Okay.
I've streamed it on my channel, and it was always very horrible, like totally terrifying, and I was always screaming in my streams, as I think Resident Evil 7 in VR is the heaviest horror game out there.
You're
And
right.
yes, I've why did I play it even with this knowledge? Yes, because
Of the clicks.
it's yes, totally. Yeah. Okay. Period. Uh, no, it was just like I've played it in flat, also with a friend of mine, and I thought now I can play it in VR because I know
Yeah. But
what
it was
happens.
different,
No,
yeah?
it was I knew that it was even worse because I was I was scared even before the situation.
Because you knew.
And yeah,
Damn.
I knew, but then of course I was even scared in the situation. So it was a
Okay.
double scary experience then.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, wow.
Okay. But I
Interesting.
haven't finished it. It's just
Okay, good.
like those hours, and yes, I've unplugged my PlayStation VR1, so maybe I won't finish it all at all here on the PlayStation VR1.
Right. Hopefully you can play it on the PSVR 2 then.
Hopefully, yes, I hope so.
The
I'm
automatically
totally looking
enhanced
forward to it.
edition. That
Yes.
would be so cool. Yeah, we'll
A
see
nice
about
topic.
that.
What about? Oh, we have talked about backwards compatibility
Yeah.
already at the
Okay.
beginning. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Like we have one more left. I think the Horizon Call of the Mountain experience of the hands-on reviewers. Um, I think Walking Dead, of course, and what was the third game again?
Oh my god, it's already late here. Um, Horizon, Resident Evil,
Oh man,
Saints and Sinners, and
Star Wars. Yes,
you're right, right,
yes.
right.
Okay. Like
Yeah,
Saints, Sinners, and Star Wars are not as different as on the other platforms, of course. I mean, Resident Evil 8 is exclusive, but Star Wars and Saints and Sinners is we already know it from other platforms.
agreed.
So let's focus on like we did on Resident Evil 8, and now maybe um, the
Call of the
Rise and Call of
Mountain.
the Mountain. Yes. So do you think that we can expect more of a gameplay um, of like yes, the climbing feature, the climbing thing, like from the climb from Crytek?
Well, the climbing feature is in it, and I'm fine
Mm.
with it. Why not? Climbing works well in VR if it's not too much, if it's not only about the climbing, if they still have the original kind of gameplay fighting against the machines, it's fine for me, right? If it's also there, but it shouldn't be like all about this climbing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I must tell you, like from what we've seen in the hands-on, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. I feel that the graphics look extremely amazing, very colorful, of course, as we know it from this world. And to see that on that beautiful OLED panel is going to be mind blowing, I think. And fighting against these robot machines, wow, yes, please give it to me, right? In VR. It already looks great in flat. I must honestly admit. But then to stand in front of these machines and to shoot at them, I am so looking forward to it. Even though it seems there are some restrictions, it's not fully free locomotion. You are when it goes into the fight scenes, it is somehow restricted. Your movement, you are on some kind of ring around the enemy that you can only go to right and left. So it's not completely free movement, and they probably did it for the people who are new to VR, that they don't want to give them too much action. I think I will still enjoy it. I think I will still enjoy it because it simply looks so good, and the aiming with the arrow, well, it is VR, right? It's just much better. So yeah, give it to me, even if it's only 7 hours. I can also enjoy a game that has 7 hours if those 7 hours are amazing. Also, since the graphics are so great, I do believe that I will stand, enjoy the vista, enjoy the views, and not power through it to beat it. Just like in Alex, I was standing on the balcony. I enjoyed to be in Half-Life Alex, and yeah, I spent lots of time in there. Yeah, that's what I think. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I would ask you a question first, like what is about the price? What do you expect? What the Horizon game will cost?
Um, yeah, well, we don't know yet. We know PS5 games are expensive, the flat games, so expensive that I don't really buy them, honestly speaking. Yeah, I'm just waiting for PSVR 2 games, and I'm waiting for the PS5 games to probably go down in price, and they do, right? They have lots of specials, so you can pick them up for probably 30 euros when before they were 70 and so on. So it's always worth to wait. That's what they are teaching us. So only if you want to play directly in the beginning, it's expensive. I don't think it's going to be like the flat full price of like $80 or euros for that game, but I do think they are going to cash in a premium more than right now. I don't think it's going to be like 30 or 40, probably 50 euros or even 60 euros, I believe could happen. Yeah. What do you think?
Okay. I think that would be too much, to be honest, as we have to compare this game to the flat game, as it's out of the same series. And I think I haven't played Horizon, to be honest, of course, as it's a flat game. But I think we have a lot of more hours in Horizon, like Forbidden West and the first
Yeah.
game of the franchise, like than 7 hours. And then this price is not fair, in my opinion.
I get it. I get you. Yeah.
And the next thing, you're right. At the beginning, of course, we have the full-fledged 80 euros here in Europe or Germany for the PlayStation 5 titles now. It's very expensive, and I don't like that this happens now. But I have always the opportunity, the possibility to buy the games later or used. And the used games are for me the number one reason for a console. I can play and buy used games, and I can sell it again.
Right.
And I don't. I really hope that we have with the PlayStation VR2 also the most of the games on disc. If it's digital, then you can buy like a Returnal, a game which is on the market like for 1 year now, even now for 80 euros in the PlayStation Store. And when you look at 80, the same
80.
price,
Yeah, I agree.
80,
I totally
the
don't buy
same
it.
MSRP.
So that reason, yes.
And when I look on the internet, of course, I can buy it even new for like I don't know, 40 euros or 50 euros, and of
Right.
course used even less. And this is something I will hope for, and I will pray for. Maybe like we don't. Please don't buy so many digital games. It's so important on the console that we have a disc. It really is.
Yeah.
Maybe the next console generation,
I agree.
we don't have a disc anymore.
It's going to happen. They will go
It's
away
gonna
for
happen,
sure.
yes.
Yeah. It would be great if they would also allow us to sell digital games on a secondhand market.
It
Right?
would be great.
There would be something that I would love to see, and lots of people would love to see it, since I also bought it. Yeah, but
Of
I agree
course,
with you.
but
Right now,
of course,
we
this
can make use
cannot
of.
work.
Right now, we can make use of the
Yeah.
of the disc, which is still nice. I agree with you. Yeah. So let's use it while we can. But
Yes,
I
you're
also
right.
think it is going to go away, unfortunately.
And some of the PlayStation VR1 games, they were digital only, even in this generation. And now I think we don't get many disc games of the PlayStation VR2 games, and
Right.
it's very sad, to be honest.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. To Horizon, you as well, right? Or what are your thoughts about it?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I will play Horizon now on the PC and
You're right.
just test it out to get a feeling of the franchise. But yes, I mean, every game on the PlayStation VR2 is nice to have, and even if it's only on PlayStation VR2, or especially if it's only on the PlayStation VR2, I'm looking forward to it on the PlayStation VR2. But of course, personally, I would love to see those new games also on other platforms like the PC. So, do you think that Sony will port those first-party titles as they do with the PlayStation 5 games now? Do you think that they will port even the PlayStation VR2 games to the PC, like maybe 6 or 9 months after release?
Well, that is a great question that I never thought about. Thanks for asking it right now. I think they want to push their own platform first. So probably they still want to keep it on PSVR 2 first. But I don't know. This is a great question. What are your thoughts? So do you think they will keep it to be more exclusive on PSVR 2, or do you think they're going to put it on
I was
PCVR?
totally surprised that they have started those ports of the first party titles to the PC. To be really honest, I mean, from an economic standpoint, of course, it makes totally sense. They sell exclusively the games, time exclusively. They sell it on the PlayStation 5. And when they see that nobody is buying those games anymore, they just port it to the PC, and then they have another, I don't know how much new buyers and
Of
new
course.
money, of course. Yes.
Right.
And normally, I would say this makes sense. Yes, I can understand it. But when you just spectate this ecosystem and this like exclusive quality of the game, the exclusive quality of the games on the PlayStation, they root it now, in my opinion. It's just like, okay, another game is releasing was released on the PlayStation 5. I would like to play it. I just wait for the PC version because, of course, it will be not locked at 30 FPS in the 4K mode and something like this. And I can own it even if I buy a new PC. And yes, for me, it would be great to have those ports on the PC. But if I were a PlayStation, personally, if I were a PlayStation, I would not have done it, those ports, even if I
Got it.
don't earn as much money as they earn with the PC ports now.
I got it. You would have kept it exclusively, so for more people to check out your system.
Yes,
Yeah, that
just
makes
like
sense.
that.
Absolutely. Like I
And you
totally,
can,
I must say, I totally agree. I totally understand exclusive titles because this
yeah,
is what makes your platform. So I understand that lots of people hate it if title X is only on headset Y. But
I hate it.
yeah,
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
but I get it. I get
yeah.
it.
I
I
hate it,
totally
but I
get
get
it.
it. Yes,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good. So,
Yeah.
the last question
hmm
for me is when does the Pimax Crystal will be released?
Yeah, and in Q3, of course. So how many
Okay.
days? It's still 15 days,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yes,
still
it's 50 days exactly.
15 days.
Okay.
So
So the next 2 weeks we will have the Pimax Crystal. Nice.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it because yeah, of the crystal clarity of the device and of of how it's going to be different to all the other headsets. So, dear people who are watching this, we don't know anything about the Pimax crystal, and dear Kevin from Pimax and dear all Pimax team members, tell us more about it. Talk with us again about the crystal. We want to show it. I mentioned it also in the other stream. We want to show it. We want to check it out. We want to, try it out. So hopefully this is still going to happen soon. And communicate with us again. Answer the emails and messages that we send to you because we really want to know what's going on. Yes.
Nice. Yes. No stream without mentioning Pimax.
Of course not. And HTC when you're in the stream.
Yeah. But I've listened to the podcast like I think 1.5 hours. The last podcast of
The German one?
Sunday, the German one, of course, yes.
How do you like it?
And I've heard about your greetings to me,
Yeah,
and
good.
of course the HTC story. And yes, it was fun to listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool, great.
Great. Yes. So let's end our board meeting here, our third board meeting. We have discussed a lot of PlayStation VR2 things, and yes, the hands-on of the public, I would say, the reviewers, of course,
Yeah, it
those
was really
VR
cool.
YouTubers and those tech YouTubers, or just like the journalists. It was
Right.
very great to see those impressions and and those experience of them. And,
Exciting day.
Exciting day. And I think the chat was also excited to talk about those things. So very
Exactly.
nice to have
Thanks
you
for
here.
watching, and thanks for commenting and chatting here. Very nice. And yeah, thanks for watching this long board meeting and watching all of our stuff on the channel. That is really nice of you.
And to be honest, I already know what the fourth board meeting, the live board meeting, will be about, but we cannot talk about it now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's most probably going to be about hardware.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So good night for everyone who's here in our time zone, and have a great day for all the others. Thanks for watching again, and looking forward to see all of you on the MRTV Discord server if you want to chat more with us about MRTV, for example. And or about the PSVR2, about anything else. So go to the Discord server. The link is down in the description of this video. And wow, we're looking forward to try out the PSVR2 and all of the other headsets that are coming up.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I've asked the last question here to Guy Godin. Hello, Guy. So any
Hi.
news on the Pico version of Virtual Desktop? Coming very soon. Yes, okay. So I'm looking forward to it.
Perfect.
As then the Quest 2 for me personally is not a thing anymore here at home, to be honest. I love the wireless feature of the Quest 2. This is great.
But if you can put it on the Pico Neo 3 Link, that's it.
That's it for me. I don't play standalone, and then for me it's great.
I'm really looking forward for Virtual Desktop on the Pico 4.
The Pico 4. You know anything about it?
Well, it's the next headset, I believe.
Okay.
I guess.
So, Guy, it would be very nice if we can get a beta version of Virtual Desktop for Pico.
Yeah, that would be great.
Peek, maybe.
Right, that we can put on the device.
Yes.
That would be great. Yeah. Next Dimension podcast, Daggers K.
Pico 3.
It is going to happen again. And it is coming back soon. So something to look forward to. But now you can tell you're getting like lots of videos again here on the channel. So the summer break is over, and you can have a look at our faces a lot starting from this week. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Marco, for the great show again. We did it in German, we did it in English, and now let's do it in Spanish.
Yeah. See.
See. Okay, no, that was just fun. So yeah, have a great night, have a great day, and see you in the next one.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.